Hello, everybody. This is Kai Hermann speaking. And so first I will set up everything. And it's my first live stream using this new software that is streaming to all 3 platforms simultaneously. That is YouTube, that is LinkedIn, and also Instagram. So let me check if everything works, and I will be back in 30 seconds, and then we will start viewing at the cases, okay? Okay, I think it works quite good. I checked at least 2 of the platforms, so I will try to monitor all the comments. I think it's most convenient for me to see if the comments you sent from Instagram and also from YouTube. So if you are watching from YouTube, maybe you comment a bit and say from where you are, maybe the country and the place. That would be nice. So I know everything is working. I know you hear me. I know you can type. So that would be nice. And also on the Instagram, I see amazing many people are joining, and it really looks good. So I will see how I can keep track with the comments, and I also don't have an assistant here, so everything is a bit fuzzy, and so let's see what we can do. Okay. We have new cases on our Berlin Case Viewer platform, and I used the last couple of days to go through some of them, and I thought they are very interesting, and I will share them. So you can access these cases on your own pace while we are here in this live stream. There is this QR code that you see now in the corner. Oh, it's there actually. And so obviously this makes no sense if you are on Instagram, because you cannot at the same time scan this code. So I will also provide the code in the chat. And so give me a minute, please. So I have this. So my fellow YouTube watchers get the link, and I'm not sure whether you can click the link. Maybe the one user. So hello Thorsten, nice to see you. And please tell me if this link is clickable on YouTube. Okay, I don't know, however, how to actually make the link available on Instagram. That's not clear, but I tried to post it there. Okay. Yes, there's some registration needed. That means I will share my screen. So once you are okay, so this is what you see when you click the link, or when you scan the QR code. You get this welcome screen. And there is this section entry with deep link. So you type in your name and your email, and then you click join now. And if you are new to the platform, you are immediately seeing the cases. If you are a returning user, so you will get an email with a one-time password. This is a code that is of 6 digits, and then you enter this code on this platform, or you just click the link and then you are on the platform. Okay, so I will also go into this platform now, and you see that I have prepared the cases over here. These are 3 cases somehow, not 4. So I will check what's going on. Somehow one case didn't make it. I will check what's going on. No, it should be 4 cases here. There's some problem with this case. There's one problem. One case not coming. Okay. Okay, so let's start with the first case. So I'm refreshing this here. Okay, now we have 4 cases. So hopefully you are all able to see. So that means if you are not able to access the platform, I will present everything. The platform is just for you as a service to click on your own pace. Also, I will provide the link after the show so you can watch the cases again. And we have these 4 cases that we try to focus in this 1 hour. And here we see the first presentation. You will see the first and the second MRI sequences. And there's also this button over here, which is the medical case records. You see it's a woman. She's 35 years of age. And there's a radiating pain in the right buttock. And it's also mainly coming in the morning after she's getting up from her sleep at night, but she's not awakening at night. And there is prolonged pain when she's sitting, but I'm not sure whether there is pain also when she's walking. I think when she's sitting there is some pain, but when she's walking, the pain is improving a bit. And there's no known psoriasis, chronic bowel inflammation, or eye inflammation. So these are the 3 conditions we like to ask because these are increasing the probability for a rheumatic condition. She has no children. There is no mechanical stress at work, or she's not an athlete, not really severely doing sports. And her BMI is 26, which is a good BMI, and so she's not obese. However, she has difficulties to move. The finger to floor distance is 8 centimeters, and CRP is elevated, so the threshold is 5. Here at 16, she's B27 positive, and also rheumatoid factor was tested. The new version is the ACPA antibody, and these are negative. Okay, so we will look at the images. So actually, you should try to do it first on your device. So there is a T1, and there is this stir sequence. And you can look at it together. We have this split view button over here. So you can look at both images together if you link these 2 sequences. And also during the next hour, if there are questions coming up in terms of these images, I recommend, hold on, I need to refresh my battery of the camera, so I'm able to continue this here. Yeah, now it's nice. Okay, we are back. Checking if we are back. Yes, looks nice. Okay, so we see, so when you have questions regarding anything, so you could use this new button that we introduced some weeks ago on our Burning Case Viewer platform. This is the pin and comment button. That means if you scroll here and have some questions, for instance, you are not sure what that might be here between the joints, then you can click the pin and comment button. And then when you go over the image, you see this nice pin, and then you can click on that in that position, and then you can type, what is this? And then I can answer it, or even somebody else who is today on the platform can answer it. And this is something I would like to try with you. So let me briefly check how many are here. We have 5 of you using the QR code, using the link, going to the platform, which is really nice. So we have many more in this stream. So I will explain everything, but those 5 of you who made it, you are welcome to explore the cases. And the QR code is always on the top right corner. So you can always join and start working with the cases. Okay, so let's explain a bit what we have down here. So we have the series of the different of the MRI scan, and there's also these questions. So you probably see the first 2 MRI questions, then there are the 2 question marks, and then these are all black on your side, because you need to answer these 2 questions first before you can go to the remainder of the MRI, and before you can see the final text. So here we have the T1 weighted scan, and we would like to approach the joint from the anterior to the posterior aspect. So that means we are starting here in the anterior approach. We see the iliac bone, but not yet the joint. So we are going into the joint. So we are now seeing the first few slices that are affecting the joint. So I will increase my pointer a bit so you see it better. And hopefully it's now larger. Yes. Okay, so you see the joint cleft over here. It's on both sides. There are no erosions in this anterior part. We see there are some black areas over here that are not there on the other side. I will increase it a bit for our friends on the Instagram. We see there is this sclerosis over here. The dark area is sclerosis, which is not here. Going further, we see there are also the joint looks quite okay, the contour of the joint. We also see the cartilage in between the 2 black lines. The black lines are the cortex of the bone. So that is the cortex of the ilium, and this is the cortex of the sacrum, and in between we have the cartilage. And you can see on the right joint, we have a decreased signal intensity of the bone marrow compared to the normal bone marrow over here. And that might be some of our findings already. So then we are going into the posterior aspect of the joint. We see now here, this is the retroarticular space. We see a lot of fat here inside, and also the interosseous ligaments connecting the 2 bones. So that is not to be mistaken with an erosion. So comparing it with the STIR sequence, in fact, this is a T2 weighted fat saturated sequence. We can see that these dark areas that we could see on the T1 are due to bone edema. There's a quite extensive bone edema here in the ilium, also in the sacrum, and it is affecting the anterior aspect of the joint. That are these slices, but the major lesions, they are in the middle part of the joint. The middle part of the joint can be recognized by seeing the sacral bone all throughout the image. So we see also the central segments of the sacrum over here. So there's the bone edema over here. And then in the posterior aspect, we see the spinal canal. Okay, so the question was, is bone marrow edema present? Yes, no. So I think that is rather an easy question. So 3 of you have answered it. So let's see how many users we have. We have 6 users. That means another 2 or 3 should answer in order to really try it. But I will disclose the results here. So all of you have answered yes. And then there was the next question, more difficult. what else is there? And I already explained that I see sclerosis and I see the bone edema, and we need to check if there are erosions, fat lesions, and backfill over here. And when we look at the solution, we see that sclerosis and erosions are there, and also capsulitis, but no enthesitis. So we will check this. What do I mean? Okay, we have the bone edema, that is clear, but where do we see the capsulitis? And if we look at these T2 weighted, fat saturated images, we see that the anterior region of the capsule, which is continuous with the periosteum, is on the left side completely dark. And here on the right side, we see this bright line. So this I would interpret as an capsulitis, of a small focus of capsulitis. Also here you can see it goes through several slices, because you must not mistake it with a vein. There's a lot of veins going close to this area, though there is usually, you see it faintly here, one vein in the anterior border of the iliac muscle. And so this capsule is more closer to the bone, and we have capsulitis over here. Maybe there's also some enhancement pattern here at the posterior aspect of the posterior capsule, but I'm not sure. And enthesitis would show up in the retroarticular space. That means we would expect some soft tissue inflammation over here, and we see bone edema here, but I'm not sure that is really true soft tissue edema, so I wouldn't go for enthesitis in this case. And also in terms of erosions, one can think that there's the joint with rather wide over here. You can double check on the T1, and I think if you go to this particular slice, you will see that there is some irregular contour of the bone. I will make it a bit brighter for you guys sitting on the lawn in front of your house. So you see there is some stuff going on. Okay, so these are the first two images. Then we continue in the case, but before we do that, I've seen that there are two new comments coming in, and there is this one comment from myself, but there is another one reflecting the T2 fat set, the series number 2. So I will check whether I can go there. It's not working because I have split screen on. Okay, I will do that. So I go here, click here, and click there, and hopefully, yeah, it will be. I will see. So this is this backfill on a stir. Backfill on a stir. That is nice. So there is. I think this is a test comment. I would say. So I think Thorsten somehow clicked too early or too late. I would say this is a Rima Ani and not backfill. Maybe it is filled with something. I don't hope it actually. And backfill, we know we would like to approach on T1, but according to the newest research, you should need to take into account also the stir, because backfill can also have some bright signal intensity changes on a stir and reflects different stages of new bone formation, ankylosis. Looking at this joint here again, I'm very doubtful that we see already backfill, but we can certainly discuss it. I can even try to discuss it live here. Okay, so let me briefly make a break to see what questions there are. I see so far no questions from YouTube, and let's check what's on here on Instagram. I don't also see any. I don't know really how to operate the live chat while there are people on Instagram. So we have 8 viewers on Instagram, which is nice. And so we will continue with that case. And not sure how it works. Yeah. So we will continue with that case. And so after the questions we had in cartilage sensitive sequence, we can see the cartilage shows up rather bright, and we can speculate if here are truly erosions. I think we should enlarge a bit, but you see the spatial resolution of this sequence. Although the contrast is very nice for the cartilage, the spatial resolution is not really how we would need it. So it's still not clear if there are erosions. And what is very nice are these oblique axial slices. So we see the oblique coronal slices over here, and we have the oblique axial slices over here, and we see again the bone marrow edema in the sacrum, in the ilium, and we see also how the capsule reacts. So if you compare it with the capsule of the other side, we see clearly there is capsular inflammation, and also you see there are big veins and other vessels crossing over the joint. So you must not mistake these vessels from the true periostal or capsular inflammation. Okay, so what else do we have? This is a rather comprehensive protocol. This is a sequence with in-phase and opposed-phase imaging. So the opposed-phase imaging was performed before we used the VIBE. So we can see the opposed-phase image is a good source for the contours of the bone. We don't see really severe destruction here. Also, maybe the feeling that there's an erosion over here doesn't hold true at the end. I don't know. And then we even have contrast agents here. We used contrast agents, so we have the stir sequence over here, and if you compare it with the post-gadolinium T1 weighted sequence, we can see that this bone edema, the area where there's the bone edema, also enhances quite severely in the bone marrow, and the inflammation is confirmed. So this is an example of sacroiliitis in axial spondyloarthritis. Usually larger text would appear here, but this text is not ready yet for this particular case. So are there any questions? Are there any questions from you so far? Anything I would need to know? Let me check so far. Maybe it would be nice if you could write where you are, if you haven't done it already. It would be nice for us to know how on this Sunday people are watching. I know it's Mother's Day in most of the countries of the world, so please bear with me. The idea was spontaneously, and I wanted to try this new option, and so I don't expect many people to join. Okay, there's one participant asking if we have bone marrow edema only on if you have bone marrow only on one joint side, for example, only on the ilium or the sacrum, can this be considered signs of sacroiliac joint? Yes, I think in these bone marrow edemas, they don't have to be on both sides all the time. So you know my videos about sacroiliitis. Some of you might even know the sacroiliitis mark. And here on this first stage, there is bone edema. Usually it's on two sides, but there are also some instances where it's just on one side. So I wouldn't be afraid calling it sacroiliitis. However, it needs to be large on one side. If it's just a small, tiny piece of bone marrow edema, I rather would go for some mechanical reason, like some anatomic variants, etc. Oh, the music is still playing. You see, I didn't wanted to have the music playing at all. So you see, I can make it smaller. I can even switch it off. So I'm sorry, the music was just for the waiting time, and I now switched it off. Okay, so cool. So we will continue with the next case. So next case starts here. You see the first 4 MRI sequences before you can continue. And we will check the history of this patient. It's a 60-year-old woman. She has pain for more than 15 years. There was significant worsening recently, so that's why she consulted with her GP, who further referred her to the rheumatologist. And the complaints were particular when she was sitting, but not while she was standing. She's a sales assistant in a clothing store, and she's also a mother, coincidentally for this day, but only one son, and it is 25 years ago. And this was also not particularly large son, not usually if they are babies of 4,000, 4,500, 5,000 grams. These are sometimes making trouble with the sacroiliac joints, leading to osteitis condensans. So we will see if that is the case over here in this case. And we see she's not so tall. She's 81 kilos of body weight. So she has a body mass index of 29, which is just below the threshold of 30 before it's really obesity called. But I think it's still overweight. She's not able to bend. The finger to floor distance is only 25 centimeters. CRP is a little bit above the threshold, and HLE-B27 is negative. Okay, so what do we see? Maybe you, 4 or 5 people, now it's 7, who are on the platform, try to look at the case on your own pace. Maybe I should wait presenting it so you can say, but I think most of the people are just watching. So I will start right away. So we see here, this is the spine MRI that is included in this comprehensive protocol. That these are all images I got from an outside institution, and I'm grateful for these cases, and therefore we will dig into them together and also analyze their protocol. So we will see there is the lumbar spine over here. There's some marked hyperlordosis of the lumbosacral junction. If you look at the nucleus pulposus signal, you see there is a good water signal in most of the nuclei. We have some decreased water signal over here, L4, L5, and maybe also a bit on L5S1. So we could assume some initial degeneration of the discs. There's no bulging, however, or disc herniation. So that's otherwise fine. And then we have the sacroiliac joint examination. Again, T1 over here, stir over there. I think I will start with the T1 and also enlarge it a bit because I understand on Instagram you have a rather small screen, and it's difficult to see 2 sequences together. So we start again from the anterior approach. So we see the iliac bone over here. We can go up to slice 7 before we are in the vicinity of the joints. So now in slice number 8, we can assume the joint is here beginning, but it's all rather dark. So if we go further into the joint, we see it stays dark over here, almost black on both sides. Still, we see the bowel here and the intestinal fat pad. So we are not yet in the central part of the joint. So we are coming here now into the sacral bone. More or less, we see the first sacral segment and the connecting bone. The joint is seen over here, and going further, we see that we are now in the central part of the joint. We can see the joint has no erosions whatsoever. It's somehow curved, and there is already the retroarticular space showing up here on the right side, and now here also on the left side. Okay, so I wouldn't go for erosion. So let's check on the stir sequence, which again is no stir sequence, but a T2 fat saturated sequence. And here again, we are approaching the joint from the anterior aspect. We have this bright small amount of bone marrow edema on both sides. We are going further into the joint, seeing some more bone marrow edema over here, and patchy bone marrow edema in these slices, and then the bone marrow edema ends here, and the rest of the joint is normal. Okay, so the question was, in which joint area is the bone marrow edema? So I'm not debating if there's bone edema. I'm asking if you know in which area of the bone edema is, and if this is somehow clear. So let's check on those 4 people doing the fun and answering. And 3 of you said in the ventral area, and 1 of you said in the posterior aspect. Okay, so I prepared some slides that will explain the concept. So here we have the drawing of the sacroiliac joint surface that I'm using quite long time, and now I modified it and also included the 3 zones that we have defined here in our institution. So we are distinguishing between an anterior zone, a middle zone, and a posterior zone. So in the anterior zone, we have the main mechanical load zone. So all the weight is more or less here in this area. So if there's bone edema in this area only, that is very suspicious for mechanical reasons, and usually not sacroiliitis, although there are some exceptions are occurring. And I think I need to make this comment disappear. And then we have the middle zone, where we are in the central aspect of the sacrum. And then the posterior zone, usually we see the retroarticular space, and we might see the posterior joints, lower joint facets as well, and in addition to the upper part. Okay, so we will further go into this MRI examination. So if there are questions coming up, please send them in the chats. Use the pin and comment function, which is, I think, the most interactive version that we can do. And what else do we have? So we see there are another 4 sequences here that are more or less complementary and give additional information. So we compare the stir. We have here the cartilage sensitive sequence. You see the cartilage signal is rather bright on this fat saturated cartilage sensitive sequence. We also see the cartilage here in the intervertebral disc, and you can see there are no erosions whatsoever in these joints. But what we can see is actually the contour of the joint. So we see the joint has this outward configuration of the sacral side, and it actually is defined on the ilium. So we have this curved joint of the ilium, and this is a variant of the sacroiliac joint shape. Usually we have it the other way around. I will show you a slide soon, and here we maybe I do it right now. So if we have that, so this is the so here we see the different types of joint contour. These are initially were described from a Greek research group, and later on were also studied again by my colleague Katharina Ziegler and her team. And also later on, a similar study came out using synthetic MRI from our friends in Belgium. And we see the normal contour of the joint is a convex shape of the ilium. And here in our example, we have a concave shape of the ilium. And this is called the crescent-shaped ilium. And this leads to early osteoarthritis. And you see already in this example, there is increased sclerosis over here. And this compares very nice with our case. There are other types of joint variation. We have the additional joint facets that you can see here. We have the iliosacral complex, where we have like a mechanical conflict of the ilium, which has this bump over here with the sacrum, and also this additional groove might be a variant that leads to to osteoarthritis. So going back to our case, we nicely see this contour over here. I see it here. See that? Okay. And if we compared with that CT scan from another patient, it looks more or less the same. So that is really, really very interesting. And I think that is also the reason why this patient had the bone edema. So this is the oblique axial slice. So we see this oblique axial slice helps very much locating the lesions. So here we need to look at the shape of the sacrum to see if there's bone in between. Then it's the middle position. If we see the soft tissues of the true pelvis, then it's the anterior position. So in this oblique axial slice, we see nicely what is anterior, because this is this area. Anterior you always see because we have the urine bladder and also the uterus visible anteriorly. We have the erector spinae in the posterior aspect, and so we can nicely distinguish between the anterior third, the middle third, and the posterior third. And of course, this patient also got a gadolinium injection, and we see the bone edema has some enhancement also in these areas. Okay, so the next question was which statements are true. So this is a difficult question because you could answer more than one fact. So in addition to bone marrow edema, there are also anterior inflammatory changes. We will look at that. Bone sclerosis is present. I think it's definitely present. Fat lesions are present. Iliac bone is atypically configured, and osteophytes are present. Okay, so let's let the games begin. Let's check what we have. 5 people are doing the quiz, and it's really nice that you all are participating so well. And you see there are 3 correct answers. So let's check for the anterior changes and also the osteophyte question. So for the osteophytes, I would go to this cartilage sensitive sequence, and osteophytes usually I'm searching here at the anterior capsule. So we see the ilium here, the sacrum. There's no osteophytes coming out. I think this one here is maybe some part of the capsule. It's not really connected to the bone. Also here, I wouldn't go for an osteophyte. And regarding the anterior changes, I'm referring again to the oblique axial slices. So we see here the joint space proper. And this is the interosseous area where we have the interosseous ligament. And here we would expect some high signal intensity change. And I will see if this holds true. I think I saw it somehow when preparing the case, but now I have problems seeing it again. Yeah, I'm not sure. I need to look at it again. So I wasn't, maybe I saw this one here as an anterior change and the posterior joint capsule. But as I look at it now a second time, I'm not really sure. Okay, and here in this case, we have even a short description of what we think there is. So this patient, unfortunately, so she has a hyperlordosis of her, so she has a hyperlordosis of her lumbosacral junction. She has this problem with being slightly overweight, and she has this variant shape of the sacroiliac joint, which in a combination was leading to osteitis condensans. So also she's a mother, so this one delivery could also play a role, but I think this baby was not large enough, and I wouldn't think that this is really something that needs to be considered. Okay, so we will go to the next case, and but maybe first I check if there are any questions. No, still no questions. That's nice. So we will go to our case number 3. So case number 3 is here. Here in this case, there are no questions whatsoever. So we will go without questions. I think I prepared them, but I'm not sure why they are not copied over. So this is a 15-year-old boy. So he's not yet an adult. He's going to school. He's a high school student, and he has back pain of varying intensity in the lower back. He's actually quite active in terms of sports. He's in the volleyball team, but is currently unable to take part in the training due to the pain. There's no psoriasis or eye inflammation, and also in the family there's no history of rheumatic diseases known. We has pain bending the pec. EB27 was determined to be positive, and CRP is in normal range. So this young boy being active in sports is always some consideration to think about overuse, like apophysitis, muscle injury, etc. So that is something we should keep in mind. Looking at the lumbar spine MRI, we can see here the normal nucleus pulposus, the normal spinal canal, and there are no signal changes at the antithesis, at the corners of the vertebral bodies. I think these smaller, slightly increased signals, they are normal due to the still immature skeleton. And so we will continue with the sacroiliac joint sequences. We have here the T1 weighted sequence. So we start again approaching the joint from the anterior position. We see the joint space over here. Already we see a difference in the signal intensity of the surrounding bone marrow. And we have here dark areas on both sides. Actually, also here, if you compare it to the normal signal intensity, of course, it all makes sense if you compare it with a T2 fat-saturated sequence. So in this protocol, we have a stir, that's the stir sequence, and this is the T2 fat-saturated sequence. For some reason, both of these types are done. More or less, I would only do one of the two. And comparing it, we have this bright appearance of the fat, so I would go for the T2 fat-saturated in this particular protocol. So looking here, we see the patchy bone edema in the sacrum, here in the ilium, and also here in the sacrum. And so the question is this sacroiliitis, or is this overuse? Is this due to growth? And you see these are the intersegmental apophyses of the sacrum, and they are also continuing here to the lateral side. And also we have this bright appearance of this bright line just next to the cortex. And this bright line, this is the still immature growth plate. So we have some growth changes still going on. Of course, these patchy cloud-like change, also this one here, is not explained by an immature joint. Also here we see it is next to this intersegmental apophysis, but it is rather large. And it is also corresponding to the other side over here. So I would call this sacroiliitis and also this one. So it's sacroiliitis on both sides. We have the cartilage sensitive sequence over here. And this is really interesting because this patient has obviously much more cartilage than our first two patients. And we can see the two parts of the cartilage, the iliac cartilage and the sacral cartilage, and there in between there is some substance that could be an ossification center, also be some sort of fibrous tissue, because I see it asymmetrically just on the right side, not on the left one. We have this one here, which might be also due to the growth. And I have prepared some slides for you while preparing for these cases. There is one publication from Danish experts, Anne-Grete Jurik and Anna Seiden, and they examined the immature skeleton at the sacroiliac joints, and they really nice described what's going on. And we see the intersegmental physis over here that fuses then over time. But also we see the smaller ossification centers over here. And this example here, this small dot, very nicely is comparing to our area that we see here. So going to the last slide, we see here more images from that publication. We see that this ossification center always is fused at the last. So we could indeed compare it nicely here to our case where we see that. And also, if we see more examples over here, down here, we see this ossification in the lower aspect of the joint that is here symmetrically on both sides. And this nicely compares maybe a bit to what we can see here in the joint. So this is all growth related. Still, this patient has these bone edemas. So although he is still growing, bone edemas are there. They are confirmed by gadolinium injection. So here we see some fluffy gadolinium uptake in the bone marrow. And this is a case of sacroiliitis due to axial spondyloarthritis in an adolescence, and you can read about it. Here I just wrote these lines some minutes ago. Okay, I see that we have filled this 1 hour more or less with 3 cases. So I would be, I would say we don't go into the fourth case. So maybe that is something you can look at it afterwards, as if you have the link. I think people who are watching this recording on the YouTube page will be able to go into this case collection also afterwards. And I'm really grateful that so many of you participated. Of course, I'm interested on your feedback, so I would like to know if that is useful. And there is some question coming in from Mr. RR. I've also seen you on other live streams. I really need to know where you are from, my friend. I tried to find it out, but it's not clear who you are. Okay, is it correct to assess grade of lordosis on lying down? No, it's not. So this is just a very rule of thumb thing. But of course, you cannot really assess the lordosis when the patient is not standing. And so I wouldn't assess any sagittal disbalance on an MRI. Okay, what else do we have? Have we answered this one? Yeah, that's already done. So I hope you're still there. I don't see actually. I see it here. Okay. Yeah, I see there are people now signing off. So have a great Sunday. And if you like it, subscribe to our channels and go stop by the next time. Thank you and see you soon.